What's up guys, welcome to the video. I am super excited to see you again today. I hope you enjoyed my last video. It was honestly kind of scary to open up like that, but so far the feedback has been incredible. So before we get into today's video, I just want to say thank you so much for supporting me. Anyone who commented or liked the video, like, you guys mean the world to me, and you encourage me to continue being open and honest. So thank you so much. Today's video is going to be more of a vlog style, and starting with a leg workout at the Mecca. I'm here with Amanda and her videographer for the day. Thanks for tuning in, and I'm excited to hang out with you for a few minutes today. Let's get started. What's up guys, welcome to the voiceover. I hope you enjoyed the more cinematic edit in my last video, which was a back workout, and today I wanted to switch it up and do a more educational style with a voiceover, kind of explaining and walking you through the workout. Personally, I like to always start with a compound movement. So for this workout, we started with sumo deadlifts with a barbell, obviously. And it's good to start with a compound movement because it recruits major muscle groups and kind of just primes your system for the whole workout. Generally, it's a good rule of thumb to move from compound movements that recruit a lot of muscles to more isolation movements at the end. So what we're doing today is called a load rep scheme. So I learned this from Emily Duncan, but essentially what you do is you work up to a 6 rep max. So you go and add weight until you hit that 6 rep max. You don't want to spend too many sets trying to get up there because you don't want to tire yourself out before you even get there. So once you find that max, then you drop down and you do volume sets for 10, 12, and 15 sets with decreasing weights for each one. So the last set was a set at 135, this one's a set at 155, and these are just warm-up sets working up to my estimated 6 rep max, or what I think was going to be my 6 rep max. So that'll be the next set after this. But I just want to say that one thing you might notice is I'm aggressively shoving my shoulder blades kind of down and back, and that just helps engage your lats and keep your upper body tight when you're pulling the bar. Another thing to do before you even pull the bar off the floor is to make sure that your glutes and your hamstrings are engaged, because that's what you should be pulling off the floor with. It should not just be like a lower back exercise, it is a full lower body workout. You'll notice here I'm doing a mixed grip, and that just kind of helps if you don't have chalk and your grip is failing when you get heavier. But this is a set at 185. This ended up being my 6 rep max, and I'm pretty happy with that considering I have not done a ton of strength work lately, especially in my lower body. I'm still kind of toying around with the approach I want to take to my lower body training, especially considering I don't want to add a ton of size at this point, but I will keep you updated once I kind of solidify the plan there. This set is my last volume set, so this was a set of 15 reps. I had already done the 10 and the 12 rep sets but didn't record them, so this is the lightest set. You still want to make sure your form is good and you're executing every rep with full intention to get the most out of it. Even though it is a lighter weight, you can't just be sloppy and throw the weight around. You need to still get the most out of every movement, or else why even bother? Moving on to the next exercise, we have some dumbbell stiff leg deadlifts. We did a rep range of 15 for these, and a couple cues for execution are to push back through your hips, and you want to feel a nice stretch in your hamstrings, and then once you kind of feel that stretch and reach the end range of your flexibility, squeeze your glutes and power through using kind of a hip thrust motion, and then really squeeze at the top, and that's how you get the most glute activation out of this movement. Like I always say, the most effective glute exercises are usually the least flattering and the least cute, and this next one is a prime example as well. You just can't be afraid to kind of look like, I don't know, have grandma butt in the gym if you want it to look good outside of the gym. So just trust me when I say that these are very effective and you should not look cute. Personally, when I train glutes, it is not cute. It's pretty freaking ugly, but it pays off, and I definitely just have learned not to care what things look like or what other people might think about the exercises I'm choosing, because I'm not working out, I'm not at the gym for anyone else. I'm in there to get better for myself. So I pick the exercises that are the most effective and are good for growing the booty, not the ones that look the cutest, and I encourage you to do the same. So this superset is a glute focused hyper extension, and then that I kind of add like a little hamstring curl at the top, and that just increases glute and hamstring activation rather than a lot of lower back. Another cue that helps when executing these is to kind of round your upper back a little bit, and that just takes your lower back out of it and helps you get that good glute activation, that good glute squeeze. And to initiate the movement, I like to think about kind of thrusting my hips into the pad rather than arching my back. And then we supersetted this with a Bulgarian split squat. I just have my foot resting on the pad of this other machine. You can use a bench, you can use a step, whatever you want, but I chose to hold a plate in front of me as a counterbalance. I really like this as opposed to holding dumbbells to the side. It's just easier to balance, and I find I get really good glute activation because it helps me sink back and sit into my glute instead of kind of like leaning to one side or trying to balance. So definitely try holding a plate out to the front next time you do these. And lastly, a good cue is to load with your hips and think about just sitting back into your hips and keeping your shin angle perpendicular to the floor. So it should be basically vertical and not really like slanting forwards as you sink back. This next exercise is one of my favorite glute and hamstring exercises. It is called a cable squat through, as coined by Robin Gallant, and basically it's a cable pull through, but you're using more hip extension and more bend at the knees, and that just basically allows your glutes to be involved to a greater extent, because when you perform a pull through with basically straight legs, you almost have like no glute activation. So I really prefer this kind of hybrid exercise to the traditional pull through. And then after doing about 15 to 20 reps there, I supersetted with single leg elevated glute bridges. So I had one foot on this box, which was kind of tricky. It kept like sliding, but just had to be careful about like the movement pattern. So you sink down to the floor, but don't touch the floor. Like keep all the tension in your glutes throughout the entire set, and then push through by squeezing your glutes. With pretty much all these movements, I like to cue myself to flex the working glute before I actually come out of the hole or come out of the bottom of the exercise. And I find that just helps me get better activation. So definitely try that out next time you're training glutes. Just think of actually flexing the muscle before you even do the movement. So after I did like 10 to 15 reps on each leg, I did the same reps on both sides for each set, but after doing single leg, I moved to doing the same with two legs, and I kind of did a like frog pump setup here. We'll go back to that in a second, but here is the beginning of the second set. Again, doing these cable squat throughs. I like to use a rope, and having a longer rope like this is really beneficial. I've also done it by holding like a plain handle with both hands. But basically the trick for the setup is you just need to lock your hands into that position and then kind of like waddle your way out. Like I mentioned before, this is not a cute exercise. It's not supposed to be cute, and if you feel really like grandma butt-y while doing it, then you're probably doing it right. You kind of want to tuck your tailbone under while you're doing it. It's called a posterior pelvic tilt. So now back to the elevated glute bridges. Another cue I like to use with this is just keep your heel on the surface. You can use a bench, or even I've done this on like a Bosu ball before, but you really want to focus on pushing through your heel and then squeezing at the top. That's pretty much all I have to say about this this part of it, but then you'll move on to the frog pumps, which you'll see next. And the key for those is, again, squeezing your glutes from the bottom and then contracting at the top, kind of doing this posterior pelvic tilt again. And that's just, think about tucking your tailbone under at the top. Sometimes I'll even like literally grab my butt while I'm doing these, just as like another cue to keep them activated. And I'll do that with a lot of exercises, no matter what the muscle is. Sometimes I also close my eyes while touching the muscles, so I'm not afraid to look like a crazy person when I'm lifting, and you shouldn't either. So yeah, that is that exercise. Like I said, this was a superset. And then we moved on to our last exercise, which we kind of did a burnout format. This is the hip abduction machine. I'm sure you're all pretty familiar with it. I really like this machine for hitting the outer glutes, but it is kind of tricky and everyone kind of feels it differently depending how they sit. So personally, I find that it feels good if I'm leaning forwards like this. And I also like if I lean back, and I also like kind of hovering over the seat. So try different tweaks and different kind of postures with this one to see what you feel the most. Again, I do kind of like touch whatever muscle group I'm working, and that just helps me activate it. Another cue I use when performing this is to literally think about the anatomical function that I am doing rather than just thinking about pushing my knees out. I think about literally like envisioning my femur pivoting around my hip joint, and that just helps me execute the proper movement pattern, because when you're lifting, it really should be feeling the movement rather than just moving the weight. Headed home now. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Oh, hey Liz! Hey Liz Brody! Just finished up the workout, as I said, and now we're headed home to grab a bite to eat. I hope you enjoyed the informative video. I typically get a lot of people saying that they learned at least something from it, so let me know if you did. If you learned something new, comment down below. Also, I realize my face is in total shadow. If you learned something new, comment down below with what you learned. I would love to know. I was a ravenous monster when I walked in the door. So I forgot to record my post-workout meal, but it was 1.5 of these wraps that I showed you in the last video. They're like mountain bread wraps from Australia. And for 2 wraps, it's 0.5 fat, 29 carb, 6 protein. So I had 1.5 of those with some of this oven roasted turkey breast from Ralph's. And then on that, I have honey mustard and part of this avocado. Typically I do try to keep my post-workout meal a little bit lower in fat, but like that avocado is the only fat source, so it was still decently low fat. It definitely wasn't like a high fat meal. But I got my carbs and my protein in, and now I'm going to, wow, this pit sweat, nice. It was hot in there. Now I'm going to shower, become human, and we have a lot of errands to run today. So let's do that. Special delivery. Oops, not going to show you my address, but this is from Lipland Cosmetics, and this one is from Bellamy Hair. So let's open. Weave bag, and their packaging is amazing. So open up, and they sent me some extensions. Yay! As you guys, I'm sure have noticed, I did take out my tape-in extensions, which were permanent extensions. I got them taken out like a week or so ago, so I've just been rocking like my little short, thin hair, which is kind of hard for me to do, honestly. Like, I'm pretty self-conscious about my hair, and especially in this industry, like, everyone has long, luscious hair. Most people have extensions, but it's like hard to have short hair and like feel, sorry, oh my gosh. It's hard to feel like glam, I guess, without long hair, and I got so used to it. But I was talking with the folks at Bellamy, and they were nice enough to send me free clip-in extensions to use until I decide I want to get my tape-ins back in. I do want to take a break from those for a while, but these are some balayage clip-in extensions, so they will match my hair. If you notice, my roots are very dark. This is my natural hair color, like this brown, and then it's blonde on the ends. So this should work very well. I went to their store and got matched last week, and I know it's gonna work. So in here also comes a brush so your extensions stay nice. Also got, wow, boob shot. Also got some stuff from their sister company, which is Lipland Cosmetics. for watching this. Thank you very much. And to everyone else at Bellamy and Lipland, I will use this stuff like daily, and I will be putting the extensions in when I take my hair out of a bun. So thanks guys, and now it is time to adult and run some errands. Okay, so in here, I'm also gonna do half of this packet of Cafe Select Protein, which one packet has 20 grams of carbs, 20 grams of protein, 100 milligrams of caffeine, and they taste like kind of Frappuccino drinks basically, so it's a good alternative to like these super heavy Starbucks sugary drinks. And they're really tasty. So I'm gonna put half a packet in here, shake it up, and then add foam. So this, shake this. To shake it, I'm just gonna put my finger over the... Voila! Not my friend right now. So that already makes it kind of like creamy and frothy, but I'm going to add some frothed almond milk. Oh yeah. You can order these packets or full-size tubs of this on the PE Science website, and as always, my code Marie will get you 30% off your entire order, so that's a really good deal, and will actually save you money over like Starbucks drinks and stuff, and the macros are amazing. So, gonna drink this, run some errands with this handsome man. Hi.